Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to SoCal Wiffle Ball. My name is Dustin Staggs. Today I'm going to be going through all 8 of the captains here for the 2024 season. We're going to be talking to them a little bit. First up, first place in the NL West, or NL, not NL West. Yeah. You guys made it to the World Series. As of recording this, we haven't finished the World Series. You guys have a World Series appearance in your first season, 9-1 in the regular season. To this point, you've only lost the one game to the Dolphins and then split that day one against the Llamas. I mean, where did that success come from, and did you think that that would happen in season 1?
I'm gonna be honest. I saw us being successful this year. 9-1. I did not see that coming. I mean, I saw our schedule. I knew we were gonna have tough games, but I mean, we played in your tournaments 2 summers ago, right before we joined the league, and it got us reps against all these teams. So I mean, we weren't coming into the league as maybe nervous as some people would just coming into a new league, just because we've had some experience against you guys. But I mean, I think a big part of it was just momentum too. I mean, once we got those first 2 wins, we went into the next series able to pick up 2 more, and it just kept going from there.
Let's address an issue that came up in the awards show. Yeah. As the season was winding down last year, we were playing in a tournament, and I found out an illegal bat had been used. There was a bike tube in your bat. Let's touch on that a little bit. Was that something that your team was fully aware of? Is that something that you really think gave yourself that much of an advantage? Like, what happened?
There are a lot of question marks around that. I'm not gonna say exactly who it was made by. Personally, I did not make the bat, but as the captain, I did allow it to be used. So I mean, I'm just as responsible. But I knew our team didn't need it. We have hitters on our team. We've all played baseball before, but I mean, we did end up using it. We got our punishment, but I know if you go and watch the playoffs right now, I mean, you'll find out we didn't need the bat to begin with.
Yeah, so unfortunate little circumstance. We have addressed it for the next season. We have a new sponsor that is providing grips for the bats. I am making the bats this year. Their punishment, some people think it was light. Some people, think there shouldn't be a punishment at all. Whatever, it happens. We're moving on. So we can talk about day 1 and the first 2 innings of game 3 right now.
Yeah.
Day 1 split, maybe the Llamas switching the pitcher had something to do with that. Game 2, you're a little cold, whatever. I mean, it was a weird off day for you guys.
Yeah.
What happened?
I don't really know. I'm gonna be honest. We've been talking about it. We don't really know exactly what happened. A big part of it was maybe I didn't warm up too much, but then again, I don't really warm up that much to begin with before many games. I don't know. I was struggling to find the zone. I started just sticking to one pitch. I think both the home runs that I gave up were on 2-0 counts. I think they had a pretty good idea of what pitch might have been coming. Yeah, we went down 10-0, and then last inning, that was something. I think the first out was made on the first batter of that inning, and then we got 5 runs, got the second out, 4-1 with bases loaded, weren't able to finish it off. But I think that definitely helped us with momentum coming into the first 2 innings of this last
Yeah, so to touch on that, lights have been an issue for us in the playoffs. We don't have a set field, obviously, and the public park's lights are not always on or in our favor. We actually finished inning 1 and 2 of game 3. Lights never turned on, so we went to a new field. As soon as we set up, the lights turned off, so couldn't finish it. Yeah. We're scheduled to play next Sunday to finish 4 games. Yeah, so we can't talk much more about the rest of the World Series because we don't know what's going to happen. You guys know if they're champs, if the Llamas are champs. We don't know, though. We're going to skip ahead here to the draft. Rodell Wilson, you guys took him in the 8 spot. Yeah. He's a big pitcher from Compton, I believe? Bethesda. College baseball pitcher. Is he a righty or lefty?
He's a righty.
Righty. I mean, second arm that maybe you don't even need?
Yeah, so right now, Nate's a great pitcher, but personally, Don't know if he's our number 2 guy right now. I think Alec definitely took over that role with his past performances that he's had. But that's 2 lefties. You know, when we play these longer series against teams like the Dolphins and Llamas and you have better hitters, you know, people start to pick up seeing the same arm side multiple times. You know, if we need to ever switch over to that right side, or maybe one of us isn't able to show up to a game or something, with the new scheduling rule, we're able to call Rodell and have him come out and pitch for us.
Okay, so in front of you, you have the schedule for next year. Yes. So you're going to play the Sharks first. The 2 1 seeds from AL and NL are going to play each other opening day. Then you go to the Apes, Dolphins, Penguins, and you finish things off with the World Series rematch. Yeah. You got 10 games once again. Can I get a prediction what you think your record will be?
I think this season's definitely going to be a little tougher schedule-wise. A lot of the same teams, but definitely new lineups. So I'm going to say the Phoenix finish 7-3 or 8-2 this year.
All right. 7-3, 8-2 is the prediction. Pleasure talking to you, and can't wait to see you guys play.
Can't wait.
All right, we are now here with the SoCal Sharks. You guys finished with the 2nd best record in the regular season last year. You were the number 1 team in the AL with an 8-2 regular season. Bit of a disappointing end to your year. Not the way that you guys wanted to end things. You and Steven had to try to fight it out there in the playoffs. Didn't go your way. Ended up losing in the ALCS to the Llamas. But nonetheless, a great turnaround from 2-8 to 8-2. What does it mean for you that you're able to lead that team to a complete turnaround?
It feels great for me and my guys to be able to just come out and work hard. Picking up Nick and Steven were probably some of the best choices that I made as a manager. I'm hoping to make better ones this coming up draft.
Draft's already happened.
I think I made a better one. I think I made a good choice, picking Joaquin in this coming up draft. But back in the last season, it was unfortunate how it ended. I think we could totally take the Llamas. If we had Nick, of course, then Evan. Nick's just our second pitcher. He's a lethal guy on the mound. Great in the batter's box. Just a good player all around.
So you guys had the only trade of the offseason. Mm-hmm. You gave away your number 7 overall pick and your only 2025 pick in return for the number 4 overall pick and Jordan Lee. Things did not work out with Jordan Lee. You weren't able to make the trade that you were trying to make with the Dolphins. And Jordan Lee is now completely out of the league. You guys do not have a pick for next year. Do you think picking up Joaquin in that 4 spot is going to be enough for you guys to not only compete this year, but stay competitive in 2025?
Yeah, of course. Unfortunate what happened with Jordan. Unfortunate circumstances, but, I was looking to make that trade. I was thinking that I was, on fire as manager coming off last year when I made some pretty good trades. But, things just happen, and Jordan's out of the league now. And, I was going to hold him, drop some other guys, but, it is what it is. And that's just how the ball rolls. Maybe we'll make a trade for a pick next year. Maybe we won't. I'm very confident in Joaquin. I think he's going to be a great pick. He's a young player, and he's going to be out here a lot more with all the guys in college. And then, me transferring next year to a college out of home. So it would be definitely it would be good for the team to have more players that are here and can play.
So let's talk about Joaquin. We know he's a good pitcher. We know he's young. He doesn't really have a bat as of right now, which when you look at the playoffs, seems like that's, really where you struggled. You guys couldn't really make anything happen with only 2 guys out there. Joaquin's obviously going to fill that spot of that second pitcher, but when it comes playoff time and it's just Steven and Joaquin here, do you think down the stretch that you could have taken somebody better that maybe could help you guys out more in an overall sense rather than just a pitching sense?
No, not at all. I think we needed that second pitcher. Nick and Steven are great hitters. I can hit, when I can. When I'm not, I'm terrible. But, Steven and Nick are really good hitters. We're going to teach Joaquin to hit, You look back at James when he joined, he wasn't a great hitter. that much, and now he's raking. He's doing really well for the Dolphins, so we're hoping to, get him some more time away from just pitching and like being alone while practicing, maybe getting some reps with Steven at the plate, because that's all he really needs. He's just practicing alone now. You can't really hit when you're alone, so we're just going to give him some plate appearances for next year, and he's going to be doing well. He's going to be doing just fine.
So let's talk about this upcoming season, okay? You guys are opening day. You are the opening day video against the Phoenix. Then you go to the Cobras, then Llamas, then my Panthers. Then you finish things off with the Apes. Can I get a prediction as to what your regular season record will be?
We'll just do a rundown. Every team, you see the Phoenix, as long as they're not cheating, I think we're gonna do fairly well, and we're gonna pull off a really good win there, especially with these new pitchers. Cobras, I'm not too sure who's on that team just now, but I will go out to their first series and make some adjustments. And I think that in our first and second series, we're gonna definitely have one loss. And we're gonna face the Llamas, and we're gonna want it. Steven's gonna want it. He's coming off a lot of losses to PJ. He's gonna want it. I think we take one game in that, so that would lead us to 4-2. The Panthers, I think we could take both, just because I think it'd be funny to beat Dustin, so I'd actually try. And ending it off with the Apes, I know they have a new team now. Yeah, Ian, Nico's pretty good. Ian's mid, and Joe, he's mid. So I think my guys will be able to go out and win that game. With all these games right here that I'm seeing, it's not a lot of time for Walker to play. Walker's going to have to step down this season and really let the big dogs eat on the team, which he's going to let happen because, nothing he likes to see more than seeing his boys win.
Okay, so final record 8-2. What are you thinking?
Probably end up around 7-3.
Okay.
8-2, 7-3.
Okay, so there's some rumors floating around about potentially this being your last season. Is there any truth behind that, or is that all just some guys that want to see Walker Randolph out of the league?
Well, a lot of guys don't want to see me in the league, big trash talker, I guess, whatever, if they want to call that trash talking. A lot of these guys do want to see me in the league, I met a lot of good guys this year with Mitchell. Mitchell was a great guy. PJ, a lot of the guys in the Llamas are just great. A lot of good guys on every team that I've been able to meet this year. I think they'd be sad to see me go. But it's definitely plausible of this being my last season, hanging up the jersey just like Jared did, because I am going away to college next year. But you never know, I could always I could be the GM of the team. Just joking. I could be the GM, have a little GM jersey. Maybe. We'll see how it goes. But, this is great time to come out here with Dustin every year. All year, every year. 24/7.
All right, well, that's all I got for you today. Good little interview. We will see you guys out at spring training, I believe. That'll be next weekend as of when we're filming this. Not quite sure when the videos are going to be coming out. We're going to head over now to the Penguins, who I think they finished the season 6-4. We're going to go talk to Ben or whoever it is. Not even sure, but thank you for coming out, and I'll see you soon.
Pleasure being here, Dustin.
I'm now here with your 2022 champions. Bit of a disappointing end to last season's Sam, not Ben today. Here with Sam. From champs to 6-4 and a wild card loss. I mean, what changed? Because the core three was there besides Ben missing in the playoffs, but even the 6-4 in the regular season, did the competition get that much better? What happened?
Yeah, well, 3 of our losses came from the same team, the Phoenix. Those were some tough series. I think a lot of stuff went wrong in the Phoenix series. I think, starting off, we came in super hot day. I was running off 2 hours of sleep. I'd just come home from school, literally a 6-hour drive back, hit traffic. It was just a really rough day. And then we get there and Colin shows up without his jersey, and then we don't have him the first game, and then we're playing, and then Ben gets thrown out. Then I get thrown out after a strikeout. So that was just kind of a rough series. And I'm not going to lie, the Phoenix, they were just better than us this year. You know, minus all that obviously like illegal bad stuff. I think that like, you know, I really don't think it helped them that much to the point where I thought they just played better than us, and that's just all there was to it. They put the ball in play, they threw strikes, and that's just how it was. I mean, we had a little hiccup against the Dolphins. I think they hit a bunch of ground balls against Ben. We had a couple errors, and they won 1-0, 3-0. It was just a really weird game, the first one. I mean, we beat them the second game, and then we beat them. I mean, we played very well. Oh, we'll probably get to that later, but we played very well against them without Ben. Just me and Colin, we almost beat them. So I think that just kind of goes to show that I think we're a little bit still got a little bit more of an edge on them, but you know, they probably wouldn't agree. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I thought we pretty much rolled through everyone. Played you guys in the beginning. That was a tough series. It's going to be another tough series again, but I know you're shaking your head. I wasn't even there for that, but the video is just awesome. And I'm probably not as awesome for you, but you know,
it is what it is.
It was a good time, yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about that playoff series against the Dolphins. You guys played well and ended up losing 2-1. I mean, you guys fought in game 2. I wasn't actually there. I heard that it was a lot more intense than what it seemed like on camera. It seems like it was a great series between the two of you guys. Can you go in depth a little bit more on what you think went wrong and how you guys weren't able to pull out the series win?
I mean, yeah. So for one, we were missing Ben, our star player. And I think that, I mean, game 1, I was hitting off James okay. Colin was hitting off James okay. Zach struggled a little bit, but he still got on a base. I think what really worked against them in game 1, we still lost that game. You know, I almost hit that home run. I mean, it was close, hit off the fence. So, but like, I think what as the third game went on, it just got longer and longer. We stopped chirping as much, and we just didn't have as much energy, and it was just got tiring. And I think that I mean, Colin's a great pitcher, but I mean, if we had Ben there, Ben is usually always lights out. He's probably still the #1 pitcher in the league in my mind. I think that he did have that one hiccup against the Dolphins, but really other than that, he was pretty perfect. No one really hit off him. Even the Phoenix, I mean, barely. I mean, they didn't really hit off him either. So I think that series just went to show that we were just better than the Dolphins. I mean, missing our best player and playing one man down the third series and taking it all the way to the end when they had their full squad. I mean, I didn't think it was too bad at all. And, you know, and also in the first inning of the third game, I hit a ground ball to third base. James scooped it up and made an amazing, made an amazing play fielding it and throwing the runner out at home. Had he not made that play, we would have won 1-0 and would have went on to play the Phoenix without Ben. So it just goes to show you that was a super tight series without our best player. And I'm not going to make any excuses. James Lee, phenomenal player. But they didn't really give us much trouble outside of James at all. And I think that James pretty much beat me and Colin, and that's just what it came down to. And Zach, by the way, he pitched phenomenal that series too. Struck everyone out, pitched a great game too, and put us 1-1. So I think that's just kind of how playoffs went. You know, it was just, you know, we were against the odds, kind of came out there, nothing to lose, and I think we just showed that we can compete even without Ben. And I think that we're probably the better team, and I think we're still #2 in the National League.
Okay, so we're going into this next season, you know, I mean, a little bit of a chip on your guys' shoulder, you know, couldn't go back to back. You pick up this guy in the 6th spot. Correct me if I'm wrong, Nick Gallardo, correct?
Yeah, that works. Gallardo.
So Gallardo, I was close.
Yeah.
I don't know him at all. I've seen one really bad quality video of him swinging. I believe he's a lefty bat. You not only have you and your two brothers, who Zach might, you know, maybe we'll see the field more this year. You still have Colin. To add this guy, I mean, what's the lineup? What's everything going to be looking like as we go into the season?
Yeah, so this guy's a longtime friend of mine. Played Servite baseball. Goes to the UCI now. So he's always been into blitz ball, and he's really good at blitz ball. Great swing. We needed a batter from the left-hand side, just, loves wiffle ball, loves this type of stuff, loves being competitive. And we just said, screw this Aaron Rojas guy. Let's put Nick Gallardo on the team. I mean, it really just made sense to put a lefty bat in. He can swing. Beautiful swing, by the way. You probably couldn't tell from that video that he sent you, but he does have a very magnificent swing, and it's definitely going to make a difference. I think he might be able to pitch. I think we're going to be pretty set with our 3 pitchers, Ben, Zach, and Colin. But, if Gallardo proves that he can throw, we'll probably have him throw against, in a game that we think we're going to win, or in a series that we're already winning in, because, we gotta feel everyone out and know who we have, because hypothetically, if Ben leaves for college again early, or I leave, we want to have a backup plan this time, instead of just having to go, me and Colin, or Colin and Zach, just head out there on the field and just, have to compete against, a James Lee or a Cannon that are number 1 guys. So it'd be good to have options like that. But yeah, he's a great guy, great swing. I'm super excited to have him on the team.
Yeah, good to add that depth. Obviously, your guys' philosophy has kind of been to keep it close, keep it with a good group of guys that you guys are friends with, and go out and have some fun. And obviously, it's been very successful for you. We look into this 2024 season. I have your schedule pulled up. Starting things off once again against me and my Panthers. Then you go to that rematch of the NLCS. You play the Dolphins, head to the Apes, then to the Phoenix, who are in the World Series. You guys lost your overall series 3-1 against them last year. And then you go back cross division to the Cobras. 10 games once again. Can I get a prediction out of you?
All right, so I'm going to split it between us this year. I think you guys have a little bit of your chip on your shoulder from last year. I think it's going to be a close game, I think, regardless. I think you guys definitely, you and EJ probably practice a lot more than we do. Ben's been getting the arm loose, getting the cannon ready. I think we're going to take whatever game he pitches. But I think the second game is going to be a toss-up. I think that last year Zach pitched phenomenal. We'll see how he does this year. We'll see how Colin's arm is feeling this year, because he's all healed up now. I don't think he was 100% when he played you guys. That's part of the reason Zach pitched. But yeah, we're gonna have to put some solid at bats against you guys. So 1-1, Dolphins, sweep, write them off. Just kidding. I think we'll sweep the Dolphins though. I think we'll sweep the Dolphins. It's Apes.
Yes, Apes.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say we're gonna sweep them. A new team, no chemistry. I'm gonna have to go with that. I think chemistry is always gonna beat no chemistry, and I'm not gonna sit here and say that they're not gonna have any chemistry. But playing, only 4 games together versus our 20, right. 24 at that time. I mean,
right.
I think we just got to come out there with energy and just be able to compete. Phoenix. It's always a tough one. Praying we don't get swept. Just kidding. We're not going to get swept. That's not going to happen again. We're going to go 1-1 against them. We're going to end the year. We might drop one against the Dolphins or the Apes. I think we're going to sweep the Cobras or the Snakes to close out the season. And I think we're going to go 7-3. I'll say 7-3, 8-2. I'm not really sure, but I think that's a pretty good guess.
I don't blame you for that one. I can see you guys doing that. I wish you the best of luck here in 2024, and we will see you soon.
Yeah, see you soon.
Ladies, gentlemen, and Walker Randolph, here we are again. I'm your host for this interview, as I will be interviewing the commissioner, captain of the Pacific Panthers, Dustin Staggs. Dustin, so let's talk about last season. The season before, you guys were coming off an American League championship, tough loss in the World Series. You come into this season, obviously assuming high hopes, and you guys go 5-5 with a wild card loss. What kind of changed this year from the year before?
Availability is the best ability in my eyes. We had a tough time getting people out, whether it was the regular season or postseason. it was a tough year for us. I mean, Jackson we had really high hopes for him. We thought that he was going to come out a bit more than he did. He only came out for a total of 4 games out of the, what did we play, 12? It's tough to not only have chemistry with that guy, but it's tough to trust him in certain spots when you don't play with him much. My hitting was down, EJ's hitting was down, the pitching got a lot better. I'm not going to take anything away from these guys that did join this league. The pitching got way better, so it makes things difficult to succeed in a league where everyone else kind of got better, and the guy that was supposed to make us better wasn't there as much. But I mean, nonetheless, EJ and I didn't do what we needed to do and got eliminated against you guys.
Okay, so let's focus a little bit on that Jackson Blum move. That was obviously a big move during the previous year's draft. He was going to kind of take you guys over that hump into becoming World Series champions. You had talked about the availability, so talk about him moving forward.
I mean, I got faith in this guy. He's got a lot of potential. I know he's a great pitcher. He's shown that. He's shown flashes of that even this season in the limited time that he was there. Obviously, he's done some great things in fast pitch over there with BLW. I like the kid. I still think that he has a lot of potential, but is there a spot for him in the lineup this next year? I don't think so. Is there a spot for him on the mound? 100%. And I think our goal is to have fun this next year. So I think he's gonna see the mound a lot, and I still got faith in him.
Okay. So let's talk about the postseason. You guys step in, defending American League champions, have to do a wild card game this year. You guys face the Llamas. Tough 2 games. What kind of went wrong in that series to not have you guys on the opposite side, the winning side of those tough games?
Game 1 came down to the pitching. I mean, I guess technically both games came down to the pitching in a sense, but at the same time, you can't win if you don't score any runs. Game 1, EJ got a little wild in the 3rd. I'd seen it happen too many times to kind of let him ride it out. I had trusted myself. I felt like I had a good season. Obviously, that did not happen. You guys put up 9 on me or something like that. I mean, it happens, but maybe I should have let EJ ride. Maybe I should have thrown Jackson in there. We lose game 1. Regardless, I feel like we're still pretty confident going into game 2. No offense, you're not the greatest pitcher. We put up a 5 spot in the 1st. Things get away from Jackson there again. And it didn't go our way. You hit a great shot that ended the season for us. We got to be able to throw more strikes on the mound, and we got to be able to put the ball in play when we're hitting. Having Jackson in the lineup there maybe wasn't the greatest move by me. Maybe I even should have just played just EJ and I in that first game or something. I don't know. But when he's going up there swinging one-handed, I mean, that's like a guaranteed out at that point. So
True.
It happens. I think the way that this season was ran by myself was horrible. I think that the big break in play kind of hurt us a bit because we weren't playing together. I wasn't really hanging out with EJ much or Jackson, so trying to go into that off of pure skill without much practice, it's not the way that you play. It's not the way that we win games, especially against a team like you guys who have the talent and the chemistry. And obviously you guys are in the World Series now, so we can't do that again this year.
Okay, so let's talk about next year. You guys had a good draft pick. You got arguably the best player in the draft with Logan Christie. 2 questions for you. How does he help the team? For people who don't know exactly who he is, but then also being a guy who's out of state, how committed is he? You talked about availability, being stability, all of that.
So with Logan, him and I, we've talked a lot. We've played in these fast pitch tournaments, not together, but against each other a lot. I know him well. I've made a trip up to Vegas this last weekend, hung out with him, played some wiffle ball. I mean, we talked a lot before the draft about his whole plan with the flight. I've got an extra room here. He's extremely committed to trying to be here for all 5 of our regular season series. Playoffs, he's 100% going to be here. I know that he's going to be very available. I know that he's very good with traveling. So I'm not very worried about his availability. he's there to hit for us. He's there to play defense. Really, that bat is what we were missing last year. I could get on base. EJ could get on base, but we couldn't get the ball in play into those spots that we needed to in order to score the runs. So I think adding him to the team is a great addition for us. He's really confident. He's been telling me MVP season inbound, and I'm not gonna hate that if it happens. So I'm excited to play with him. Yeah, I mean, enough said about him. I think very highly of him. So yeah.
Okay, so we have your schedule for 2024 here.
Indeed.
You have the 2022 World Series rematch with the Penguins. Then you have the Llamas, Cobras, Sharks, and finish with the Dolphins. Can you give us some insight from your point of view? How did the Panthers do? How does the season go?
At best, I think we go 8-2. At worst, I could see us going 2-8. It's possible. I don't know how well this team's gonna gel together. Any record in between there is very possible. It's just gonna come down to if we can hit. I know that we can pitch, but there's some tough guys up there. I mean, obviously the Dolphins got a lot better adding Tommy. Sharks got better adding their second pitcher. Llamas got better adding their second pitcher and another big bat. The Penguins are the Penguins. You can't count those guys out. The Cobras, I know the guys. I know that they're good. They love to play wiffle ball. So it's not the easiest schedule in the world. It's not the hardest schedule in the world. I'm hoping to go 8-2. I could see us going 2-8. I'm expecting us to go about 6-4.
Okay. All right, well, that is Dustin Staggs, the head coach of the Pacific Panthers, with the 2024 prediction. Dustin, great talking with you. Good luck.
All right, now to swap things over. It's my turn to interview you, Mitchell Downing, new captain of the Llamas. First of all, how does it feel? I mean, some things have happened. There were a little bit of rumors about you being upset with the team. Some different stuff happened. You're now in this captain's role. How does that feel that has finally happened?
Yeah, I'm excited. This was we're coming off our first year in the league, so there was a lot of learning, both from PJ as a captain, us as players, us as a team. So PJ and I had a long talk, kind of about the direction of the Llamas, and so we decided that it would be best for me to take over the captain role for what would be best for us in the future.
Okay, so, I got to put this on camera. I got to put this out there, okay? There was a trade rumor. You and I had talked a little bit about the potential of you becoming a Panther. You weren't happy for a minute there with the Llamas. Obviously, things have worked itself out. You want to put the nail in the coffin there on what exactly was happening?
Yeah, I'll start off with a precursor. PJ, I'm sorry. This might be the first time that you're hearing about this. I love you. Yeah, so there were some discussions internally. We have a great group of guys, so we have some really tough conversations every once in a while. And so, at the end of the day, we all just want to win. And so there were some conversations that we weren't getting on the same page. And so I had a moment to where I thought maybe that would be best suited elsewhere. And so then after having a calm, mature conversation with PJ, we decided that we could still work it out together. And ultimately that's what led to me becoming the captain, was those tough conversations in the direction of the team. So all in all, I'm happy with where we're at. I think you're happy with where you're at. Yeah. I think it all worked out. It was just a tough little stretch of not seeing eye to eye. And I think that will ultimately help us because we had to have some tough conversations.
All right, let's go back to last season. Okay, 5-5 regular season. I guess maybe the way that you wanted to play things, get that 3 seed, have a better draft pick. Massive turnaround in the postseason, which to this point, World Series hasn't been finished. We're only 2 games in of filming right now. It is a split series. But big turnaround from regular season to postseason. Was there a little bit of strategy and maybe some games being thrown there in that regular season?
Yeah, so I think part of it is, I'm just going to go on the record. I think the Llamas are the smartest team in the league. I mean, I'm really a rules guy. We use the rules to our advantage. We knew that if we went into the playoffs as the lower seed, we could manipulate the pitching order. And so that was our game plan. Me being our number 2, not a very strong number 2. We needed to match up PJ in a position to win. So we ended up throwing the series against the Panthers to fall behind them, which ultimately worked in our favor in the playoffs. As you also see, we didn't win awards as a team. That was part strategic as well, because we had guys miss games intentionally, which hurt our stats. So that way we wouldn't win certain games. We got a great draft pick, which you'll touch on later.
Yes.
So 5-5 was exactly where we wanted to be. It put us in the perfect draft spot. It put us perfect for playoffs. And ultimately we did exactly what we want to do in the playoffs, which is get to the World Series.
Let's talk about that road to the World Series, Kay. If you look at seeding, you call them an upset. Maybe in your mind it's on purpose, so you guys are the lower seed there. Regardless, 2 upsets against my Panthers, you swept us, and then 3-1 against the Sharks in the ALCS. Kind of a smooth road for you guys to the World Series. The bats have been hot all postseason. How does it feel to be able to walk out of those first 2 series without really having to sweat much?
We're really worried about that series against you guys, against the Panthers. EJ, Jackson is a really tough 3, especially from pitching wise. So that was the one that we were honestly most stressed about. We knew with the Sharks that they were going to have some guys missing. We faced Stephen Hayden a lot, and we felt like we matched up well against him. So we felt like if we got past the Panthers, we had a decent shot. Those 2 games were crazy. I had probably the biggest hit of my wiffle ball career. Our bats have just come alive in the postseason. I think that has to do with the 3 of us being there every single game, and we're just locked in. We have a common goal. We want to win. We want to, now facing the Phoenix, we want to be the new team to hopefully win the World Series. Now we got to battle all the newbies. So, I think us playing together throughout the years, the 3 of us talk all the time. We hang out together outside of wiffle ball. We have a really good bond, and I think that shows on the field with our communication, our teamwork, all that type of stuff, and it's really shown in the playoffs.
Okay, so obviously World Series hasn't been finished as of the time of recording. You guys know what the outcome is. We do not. We're going into this off season, and a big trade happened. Okay, you were sitting with the number 4 pick. You had mentioned, maybe you're going to take Joaquin, maybe you were going to take someone else in that spot. You ended up trading that pick and Jordan Lee, who did not play for you at all in 2023, away to the Sharks for the number 7 overall pick and their 2025 pick. From what you've told me, Brandon is the guy that you would have taken in that 4. After talking to captains, you figured out that he wasn't going to be taken by anyone else. You could have still got him at the 7. How big of a strategy play is that to now have 2 picks going into next year and to get rid of Jordan Lee, who inevitably is out of the league now?
Yeah, there was a lot. That draft, for being a first-time captain, the draft was a lot of fun, but there was a lot of gamesmanship going on between the different managers, and so there were a lot of tough conversations, me trying to read between the lines with guys, and so we felt confident that even moving back, we were still going to get the guy that we wanted, so why not try to make a move to help ourselves in the future? PJ and I played with Brandon over in a different league, and we were able to go to the World Series there. Unfortunately, came up short, so we know what he brings to the table, and we think that he's going to fill that number 2 spot in our pitching rotation. That was a huge hole for us this season, and not take away from our offense at all. So setting up for next year too, we feel like we have a really good squad, and then we kind of, in a way, control the draft by having two picks, while some teams have none, some have 1. And so then we can kind of figure out where we're at then, and it puts us in a good spot for next year as well.
Okay, so let's talk about this upcoming season, 2024 season. You have the schedule in front of you. You go Dolphins, Panthers, Sharks, then Cobras, and round things out, the World Series rematch against the Phoenix. Can you give me some sort of a prediction, some sort of a record prediction there out of the 10 games?
Oh, that's tough. Like I said, this past season we were playing really for draft pick and all of that. So this season is going to be solely win, win, win. So it's just going to be about who shows up, really. It's tough to get everybody together during the season. Having Brandon obviously adds depth to that. We feel like we're going to be able to compete with everybody, especially having that 1-2 punch of PJ and Brandon, which we think can match up with anybody in the league. I mean, I think we're going to be right there fighting for that number 1 spot in the American League. I know that the Cobras are a lot better this year. I know that you guys have a big acquisition on the Panthers, and I know the Sharks just got a big number 2 that they've been looking for. So the American League's going to be really tough this season. I mean, I think that it's one of those seasons to where 7-3 could get the number 1 seed, and that number 1 seed is going to be huge to not have the possibility of getting eliminated in the wild card. So we're going to be pushing hard for that. So, I mean, I see us fighting for that number 1 spot and hopefully getting back in the World Series.
Well, it's good talking to you. Good catching up. And we will see you soon here for the 2024 season.
Sounds good.
All right, I'm now here with the Dolphins and the newly crowned captain, Vinny Casella. Welcome. So, starting things off, how does it feel? You're the captain. You know, this is something that maybe has been coming for a minute, but it's happened. How does it feel?
You know, I'm really honored to take over this amazing program. Really, great players. Was kind of out of nowhere, but I appreciate the offer anyways. This is a great program. It's still a young program, and you know the District Dolphins. There's a lot coming for them this season. You know, got some good picks this draft, and hopefully we can expand on it this season. You know.
Yeah. So, let's go back to last season. Not only that, let's go back to the season before that.
Yeah.
4-6. You know, this seems to be the trend with you guys. Obviously, maybe you're going to try to pick that up for the next season. We'll talk about that in a minute. The exact same record with adding the guy in James Lee, is that something that you really thought was going to happen, or did you maybe expect a little bit more out of yourself?
You know, it was kind of a letdown first because both seasons we were going into it thinking, you know, we're hot, we're going to be playing some really good teams, but, you know, we're going to come out on top, maybe get above 500. But it was a big surprise this year to go below 500. I know the sweep against the Phoenix and unfortunately splitting both series against the Apes was a little abnormal for the Dolphins, but, you know, nothing a little challenge can't handle for this program. So next year, hopefully a little bit better, above 500.
So let's talk about that wild card, you know? I mean, going into that, you got the defending champs. They were down then, but nonetheless, you guys fought. You guys fought hard, and you were able to come out with the 2 needed victories. How big was it that you guys were able to show that you're very competitive, and you know you're maybe one piece away from being a real championship contender?
You know, we did get dealt a pretty good hand there because you know they were missing Ben, but I do think that series showed a lot to our grit, and it was really a testimony to the whole season, really. You know, we were always down, but you can never count us out. So I really think that, you know, we are one piece away from making a big run in the playoffs, but yeah, James just showing what he's got on the mound, even with the hitting too. His bat and his arm, they really show out that this season, you know.
Yeah. So we then headed into the NLCS. Bit of a rough stretch. Games 1 and 2 were rough for you guys. Game 3, you were able to take that victory, and then Game 4, kind of the inevitable happened. We're going into this draft. It already happened, actually. You guys got Tommy, you know. Good player, good lefty bat, good lefty arm. He's someone that can be that key piece for you guys, especially in playoff time. Having him available on the team, how much does that mean to you, and how much do you think this is going to flip your guys' season?
It means so much for this program, really. You know, there's a thing in this program that we need to just face, and we had to face once our season ended. We had to say, you know, we need to find a second pitcher, you know, and Tommy was that missing piece. We were going into the draft thinking, you know, we only need a hitter. We just really need a hit, because our run differential was really low. However, Tommy he's a dual threat. I mean, he's a great pitcher, he's a great hitter, he's an all-around guy, he's good defense. I think he was truly the missing key piece in the Dolphins franchise, really. I see us going far with this guy, and you know, he's gonna make a big impact this year.
Okay, so speaking of this year, you got the schedule in front of you.
Oh, yeah.
You're playing the Llamas, then you go to the Penguins, then Phoenix, Apes, rounding it off against us. not the easiest schedule I think anyone's ever seen. You know, you gotta give me a little bit of a prediction here. Out of the 10 games, you know, what do you think your final record's gonna be?
Well, I'll just start off with this. When I got the schedule, I was just in our Dolphins group chat, send it over, boys. I told them, like, boys, we gotta come out on top this year. You know, we got dealt a pretty, I'm gonna say challenging schedule, but also it's gonna show a lot. I mean, just our first 3. I mean, Llamas, Penguins, Phoenix. Tough road right there. But I can predict, seeing how we're playing Apes and then you guys afterwards, I can say, I want to say 6-4. We'll flip the 4-6 for the first 2, and we'll get 6-4 for the 2024 season, hopefully.
All right, well, predictions in. Vinny, pleasure having you.
Thank you,
thanks for coming out, and I'm excited for the season.
Thank you.
All right, I'm now here with True Hendrickson, new captain for the Barbaric Apes. You know, a little bit of a mix-up for that team there. Yourself and your brother are joining the squad over there. You're new to the league. Why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself, where you come from, and what you're about?
Yeah, so born and raised Laguna Hills, played in OC Wiffle Ball for a while. Did pretty well over there. It's a different setup though. I noticed that you guys are running the bases and all that stuff. We do like an over the line over there, but I've been out of that league for probably a little over a year, around a year now. So just happy to be back and getting into it.
Yeah, so I mean, let's talk about a little bit of a transition. You know, things are going to change a bit. What sparks your interest the most about joining this league?
I don't know, just again getting out there and just playing, always a great time. But definitely a different skill aspect of actually running the bases. Only 3 innings too, I believe, per game. Is that correct?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a lot of like, you got to get it done quick, and it's gonna be fun, more explosive, I feel like. Yeah, I'm excited for it.
So you picked up Ian Brunetti at the 2, first round, second overall pick. Then you picked up your brother in the 2nd round. Realistically, you guys are going to be the core 3. I mean, do you think you guys are going to mesh well together? Obviously, you know your brother well. You're not very familiar with Ian. You got some other guys joining the team. Do you think that this team's going to really gel and succeed here in 2024?
Sure. I mean, yeah, over at OC Wiffle, I was able to accomplish 2-time MVP before anyone else. So hopefully I can bring a good energy and, you know, determination to the rest of the team to get some wins. I noticed that last season it wasn't the best win rate, but we're gonna bring it back this season, that's for sure.
Yeah, so 2-8 last year. Obviously a completely different looking team than what's going to be going into here.
Rebuild.
Yeah, Apes missed out on the playoffs, which one of the only 2 teams to miss out on the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
What's it going to take to be able to get this team back into the playoffs, especially in a division that's as stacked as the NL?
Just pitching and hitting, down to it, because anybody can field the ball, but you got to have a solid pitchers. You need multiple pitchers, can't just have one pitcher, and you got to hit the ball. If you're slumping, it's going to go by quick.
All right, so we're going to look ahead into the schedule here. I've got it pulled up. You're facing some guys that you know from OC Wiffle Ball, the Hoffman brothers, as the Cobras. Then you go on to face the Phoenix, who just lost in the World Series, and the Penguins, who were the first season's champions. Then the Dolphins, who have arguably some of the youngest and best prospects coming into the league. And then you face a guy that you know pretty well in Stephen Hayden and the SoCal Sharks. There's 10 games to be played. Can you give me a prediction?
Not at all. I don't know any of the competition. I haven't played with them at all. I expect them all to be pretty good. So it's going to be interesting feeling everyone out as I go. And then, you know, again, I have good confidence in myself and in my brother, who are going to be joining the team. So I'm not really worried about like who we play. It's just whether if we perform, then we're gonna put up numbers, and that's all that matters in the end. So.
All right. Sounds like you guys are ready for the season. I'm excited to see you guys play. Thanks for hopping on.
We're getting there.
And I will see you soon.
All right, thanks.
All right, I am now here with our last captain Dylan Hoffman of the Cobras. You guys will have the #1 pick this year. So Dylan, we haven't seen you in the league before. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you come from. I know you have some background over there at OC Wiffle Ball. So just fill us in. Who are you?
Yeah, I'm Dylan Hoffman. I'm the head coach at Westcliff University for the baseball program. Previously, I played in the Padres organization and played college baseball at a few different schools. I used to play wiffle ball growing up, so I have a lot of experience doing it. Back in the backyard with my dad and my brother and my cousins. Decided to start playing wiffle ball in the OC Wiffle Ball. I think that's what it was. Yeah, OC Wiffle Ball. And it was a really good time, but I just decided to take my talent elsewhere and find a organization that has a really good talent level. And so that's what we did here, and we're definitely happy to be here.
Okay, so you had the #1 pick and you had a 2nd-round pick. So you pick up your brother Drake, #1 overall. We know he can pitch, we know he can hit. And then you pick up Trevor, who I'm not 100% familiar with. I think I played him a couple times over there in OC. Guys that obviously you know your brother, you know Trevor. How do you think that core 3 is going to do this year?
Honestly, I'm pretty excited for it. I think we're going to have a pretty good run at it. Obviously, having Drake with me, we grew up playing together. Obviously, he's my twin. I'm still the better brother, in my opinion. We do have our tic-tac-toe, and we go back and forth. But now it's fun playing with him. He brings a lot of success with the bat that we're really excited to see in this new league. And Trevor just makes really good defensive plays, and he's really smart on the bases. He's really quick as well, with a very good eye. So he's going to have a tough time being struck out.
Okay, so last season, bottom of the barrel, 1-9, missed the playoffs. I mean, there's a good group of players and a good group of teams in this league. How difficult is it going to be to make it back to that playoff hunt?
Yeah, like I said, and like you said, the league is full of talent, and that's why we joined it. And we're looking for new opportunities, and this is where it landed us. And being in this conference, being in this league is going to be really exciting and fun. And I think the challenge is definitely there, but that's something that why we're doing it is we're never going to shy away from the challenge.
Okay, so you got 10 games here. You get to play the Hendricksons first, which will be fun. Then you get to go play Steven, which you play myself, then you play some other guys from OC that were in OC, PJ and Downing and them, and then you round things off against the 2022 champs. 10 games, can you give me a prediction?
10 games, honestly, Dustin, if it was 30 games, we'd be 3-0. But you limited us to only 10 games, so we're gonna have to deal with it and go 10-0 against these guys. But yeah, like we said, realistically, if we can go 500 on the season, I think we're gonna be having a really successful season, especially in this league with the full of talent.
All right, well, I love the confidence. Thank you for joining the show. That's gonna wrap up our video. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to subscribe, go check out our Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff. We got summer tournaments going on. So yeah, we'll see you guys next Sunday.